Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ringside Wrestling Entertainment. This is Joel Perez here, back once more for another edition of your official WWE Smackdown Live reviews. And it is your review for the date of December 5th, 2017. And I'm questioning. I am questioning if this show is even worth sitting here and reviewing here tonight. Holy shit, was this show garbage. My God. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. You're 2 weeks away from a pay-per-view and you're building towards what literally on paper is looking to be one of the worst pay-per-views of this year. And may I mind you, this is a year where we had WWE Battleground 2017, where Randy Orton and Jinder Mahal were in a Punjabi prison match. And on this pay-per-view, you have a main event that's going to be good at best, because there's no way AJ Styles is bringing Jinder Mahal to a better match than good. So a main event that's going to be good at best if Jinder decides to bring his A game that night, and that is very rare. You have a women's championship match that we've already seen 5 goddamn times, but to top that off, it's going to have one of the most underwhelming match stipulations that you can ever come up with in the Lumberjack match, which absolutely boggles my mind. You're going to have a tag team matchup between Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Randy Orton that we've seen on SmackDown's main event like 3 times now. But there's a stipulation. Shane McMahon is going to be the special guest referee to that matchup. What does that add to that matchup? Why is Shane McMahon the special guest referee to a tag team bout? It's not like they've been building this like the Kevin Owens AJ Styles feud, where there was constantly something going awry in these matches, and there's constantly cheating, and the referee wasn't able to do his job. Shane McMahon is stepping in as referee for no goddamn reason. And then the stipulation on top of that is that if Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens lose, they're fired from WWE. Not just SmackDown Live, from WWE for good. As if Shane McMahon has even the authority to fire them from the entirety of WWE. It's just, it makes no sense to me, and we'll go more into that as we go into the review here. My God. On top of that, ladies and gentlemen, you have a fatal four-way, 4 tag teams in one matchup. Now, I sit here and ask myself, why is that necessary? Why do you need to have 4 tag teams in one matchup? 2 of those tag teams that have not been built up to be in that scenario. The New Day lost their tag team championship opportunities over and over again against the Usos, yet they're in that championship opportunity against the Usos after beating Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin once on SmackDown Live out of the blue in a matchup that really realistically made no sense. And then Rusev and Aiden English, who we really didn't know were even a tag team until here tonight, are magically able to beat the New Day, a team that went through wars in Hell in a Cell against the Usos, a team that beat Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, the guys who were the #1 contenders to the tag team championships last week. They've done all this, has the New Day being able to stand in the ring and hold their own against the Shield. Now you're telling me Rusev and Aiden English, some makeshift tag team that we just found out was a tag team here tonight, is now qualifying for these tag team championships. 3 teams are qualifying for these tag team championships. Whatever happened to choosing one number one contender? You gotta be kidding me with that one. Then you go to the United States Championship matchup, which we expected to be Dolph Ziggler, or not Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode versus Baron Corbin. And not even that sounds too exciting, but at least it would make some type of sense. But then you need to go and add Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler, who before tonight hadn't been on television for months. 4 months. And you're telling me, you mean to justify to me that this guy is worthy of a United States Championship match? Where is this coming from? It's coming out of absolutely left field, and I cannot say that I am excited for one matchup on this show. Usually, WWE likes to assemble one-match shows or two-match shows where it's built around the excitement for one thing. This pay-per-view has me excited for nothing. This is literally a Smackdown on a Sunday night. It really, really is. It's a 3-hour Smackdown on a Sunday night. And it's probably going to be worse than what we usually see on SmackDown Live television. Clash of the Champions is looking like absolute rubbish. And that doesn't need to be the case. This is my main problem. It doesn't need to be the case because you look at the talented roster that you have, and I bring this up like almost every week, the talented roster that you have really doesn't warrant for you to be putting on this crappy television, for you to be assembling these crappy pay-per-view cards that nobody wants to see. It really makes no sense to me. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Randy Orton is a tag team matchup. We've seen that's a SmackDown main event that barely anybody wants to see to begin with. But we've already seen it already. It should have been Sami Zayn versus maybe even a Shinsuke Nakamura, or Sami Zayn versus Randy Orton and Kevin Owens versus Shinsuke Nakamura, or Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton and Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura in singles matches. That would have been exciting because those are going to be two goddamn good singles matches, especially on pay-per-view. Especially on pay-per-view. Then you want to get the New Day on the card. You want to get these tag teams on the card. Why not have the New Day versus the Bludgeon Brothers? Why do the New Day have to be in the tag team championship scenario? They don't have to be in the prime spot. You were building up Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable for the tag team championships. Why didn't you go with that? Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable versus the Usos. Bobby Roode versus Baron Corbin certainly would have made a lot more sense than throwing Dolph Ziggler in there. And if you wanted to throw somebody in there, why wouldn't it have been somebody who made sense? Maybe a Ty Dillinger, who hasn't been seen on SmackDown Live in God knows how long, and was actually feuding with Baron Corbin before Baron Corbin did go on to win that United States Championship. What about that? What about that? No, that's forgotten about, right? That is forgotten about. You have got to be kidding me with this pay-per-view card. AJ Styles versus Jinder Mahal, you're just getting that over with. That's the only matchup on this card that I understand why it's on here. The Jinder Mahal matchup. I can't believe that I find myself saying that the Jinder Mahal matchup is the only matchup that I understand being on this card. Why are you giving us Charlotte versus Natalya for the 15th time? Nobody wants to see that again. Nobody. Why can't you give us a triple threat in the women's division? Why can't it be Charlotte, Natalya, and Ruby Riott? Why are there even these factions to begin with? It's like the welcoming committee wants to reassemble. Then you got Charlotte, Naomi, and probably Becky when she comes back. And then the Riot Squad. It's like this PCB, Team Bad, and Team Bella shit that we were seeing 2 years ago all over again. And it wasn't good 2 years ago, and it's not good now, so why are we seeing it, is my question. You have got to be kidding me with WWE and their garbage Clash of Champions looks awful. SmackDown Live is awful. Meanwhile, Monday Night Raw isn't building towards anything, and they put on a damn good show last night? Are you kidding me? You really do have to be kidding me. Just 1 year ago on SmackDown Live, we were seeing some of the best WWE television that we had seen in years. Because WWE television, especially Monday Night Raw, has been terrible for ages now. Meanwhile, this time last year on SmackDown Live, we probably got the best show, the best WWE main roster show that we had seen in God knows how long, when they put on that pay-per-view-esque SmackDown to end off the year with the WWE Championship Triple Threat. It was Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin and AJ Styles. You had an Intercontinental Championship match on that show, Women's Championship match, probably a Tag Team Championship match. I know that The Undertaker was on that show. Edge was on that show. It felt pay-per-view-esque. It really did. It certainly felt a lot better than whatever we're getting going into this B-level pay-per-view Clash of Champions. And I'd much rather get that now than what we're getting for SmackDown Live. This sounds awful. It is awful. I can already tell this pay-per-view is going to be a colossal waste of time. Oh my God. Why would WWE assemble a pay-per-view like this? Nobody's going to want to watch that. I mean, I'm counting the days until we start building towards the Royal Rumble, because I know that's when SmackDown Live and Monday Night Raw, for that matter, are actually going to become shows that are worth our time, because it seems like when WWE is going towards nothing, they want to make nothing. If you're going towards nothing, make something to go towards. Don't just stall all these weeks. You need to produce programming. You need to produce good programming at that matter. And Monday Night Raw, it's like on and off each and every single week. Last week it was off. This week they actually did some great stuff on Monday Night Raw last night. What changed? Are they going to do the same next week? I doubt it. I think it was just a lucky hit by Monday Night Raw. Besides that, they're striking out each and every single other week. SmackDown Live seems to be doing the same goddamn thing. And it doesn't have a reason for that. Your WWE Champion is AJ Styles. You should be putting on great programming. You have Bobby Roode, Rusev, Aiden English, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, Shinsuke Nakamura. All these names, Baron Corbin, Ty Dillinger, on your show. You have those names on your show. Utilize them. Meanwhile, you're putting them all in shitty programming. It makes no goddamn sense to me. It really does not. It really does not. When you can be putting on probably the best wrestling show in all of the wrestling scene right now. Better than what NXT is doing. Better than what Raw is doing. Better than what Ring of Honor, New Japan, whatever the hell they're doing. You can be doing that with that roster that they have on SmackDown Live. Meanwhile, you're producing the worst possible scenario. And I don't understand that. I really, really don't. We're going to talk about everything that happened on SmackDown Live here tonight in more detail, in non-ranting fashion. I will go over what happened here tonight. But before we do go into that, like always, I want to tell you guys to make sure to go check out all the other content on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. So much other content to go check out. Of course, Raw review was uploaded last night on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. You can go check that one out. Just this past weekend, we had Behind the Mic, episode number 47. We were talking big things over there. Plans for the Royal Rumble coming up in 2018. First pay-per-view of the year. Always the Royal Rumble. My favorite pay-per-view of the year. Multiple other people's favorite pay-per-view of the year. Because of that special Royal Rumble matchup, we were talking about plans for the Universal Championship and how Brock Lesnar could be defending his Universal Championship in a triple threat matchup against who? We're talking about that on Behind the Mic. We briefly speak about it at the end of our Raw review as well, so make sure to go check out those 2 videos. We were also talking about on Behind the Mic, the other major news story, John Cena being sued by Ford Motors. That was the other big story. So we were talking those 2 big, huge things on Behind the Mic, so make sure to go check those out. Raw and SmackDown reviews for last week as well as content upcoming for the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Of course, it is December, the end of the year, and very soon we're going to be starting the end of the year top 10s. As soon as Clash of the Champions concludes, actually, that's when we're going to be starting it. I doubt there's going to be any match of the year contenders on Clash of Champions. Actually, I know there aren't going to be any match of the year contenders on Clash of the Champions based on the card that we have gotten and the builds to these matches. It's been terrible, so there's not going to be any of that. But, I mean, one can dream, right? One can dream. But we will be starting the end of the year top 10s, and we're going to be doing, like I mentioned, top 10 matches of the year. We're going to be doing top 10 superstars of the year. Top 10 superstars of the year, I don't know how I'm going to title it. It's either going to be top 10 breakout superstars of the year or top 10 superstars of the year. I would like to do breakout superstars, but then again, am I going to make a whole other list where a lot of those names are probably going to be repeated? Because I want to put an AJ Styles in a list of top 10 superstars of the year, but if I do breakout, it's going to be like breakout star of the year, easy, Braun Strowman. But he's also going to be, if I make a separate list, top 10, it's going to be Braun Strowman again. So why would I want to do that? I might just make a top 10 superstars of the year and include Braun Strowman and include an AJ Styles, because you ain't going to include an AJ Styles in your breakout stars of the year list. I know that much. And of course, top 10 worst superstars of the year. Dana Brooke rings a bell right there. So we got a lot of top 10s to do. It's going to be an exciting time for the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. It's going to be a nice way to welcome in the holidays, right? So we're going to be doing that upcoming on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, as well as your, of course, Clash of Champions review, coming probably, I don't even know when Clash of Champions is. I think it's next week. You're going to get a preview and predictions for that one, and of course, upcoming Behind the Mic. So that's pretty much what we have slotted for December. And going forward, of course, you got your Royal Rumble. WrestleMania season starting right after the Royal Rumble. So it's going to be big, big times for the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. And the best way you can support is to subscribe to the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Like I did last night on your Monday Night Raw review, I'm going to be leaving a question for all of you to answer. What do you think? I'm going to leave it in the comment section below, and you guys are going to tell me what you think, what would have been your dream card for Clash of Champions. So if you had to assemble a card for Clash of Champions like I did in that rant earlier, how would you have assembled your Clash of Champions card? So make sure to reply to that comment down below. I'm going to be leaving it on the video. You're going to be responding to that comment down below. What do you think your dream card would be for Clash of Champions? It's really not a pay-per-view that you would be dreaming about, but at the same time, I'm sure all of you can do a lot better than what WWE is doing right now. So make sure to reply to that comment that I will be leaving in the comment section below. What would your dream card for Clash of Champions be? So make sure to subscribe, make sure to click on that notification bell, get notifications straight to your mobile device, and you'll be getting on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel everything having to do with the WWE. So it's very important that you subscribe. It helps me out. It gives you more content to watch when you're on the way to school, on the way to work, at school. I don't know, when you're doing nothing during the day, you just sit on here on your YouTube and pull up the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel and have some fun listening to this Raw and SmackDown reviews and just all the content on the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. There's a whole lot of content, over 300 videos for you to go check out. So make sure to leave all your support, smash that like button, all that good stuff. It helps me out, and hopefully it is also helping you out, because for now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go straight into this SmackDown Live review. And it was from San Diego, California, here tonight. At least I think it was from San Diego, California. I swear this show was putting me to sleep. This show was awful here tonight. It was not just awful, and it had a lot of illogical booking decisions, especially concerning the upcoming pay-per-view Clash of Champions, but it was boring. It was boring as hell. And the show started off how SmackDown Live always starts off as of late. These WWE shows can never start off with the match. It starts off with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in the middle of the ring. They got a mixed reaction here. Sami says, Owens is far too gracious, but tonight is the Kevin and Sami show. Owens says, when you're as great of an athlete as he is, you never stop learning. And he's recently learned that the McMahon family will stop at nothing to get their pounds of flesh when you're one of their targets. Just ask Daniel Bryan or WWE Hall of Famer Bret Hart or WWE Hall of Famer Steve Austin. Better yet, just ask Owens and Sami. Owens says they're better than any of the guys they just mentioned anyways, combined. This is why they are the latest objects of the McMahon family wrath. Owens points to how SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon tried using Orton to end his career last night. Sami mentions Shane using Orton to do his dirty work these days, but not too long ago it was Raw Commissioner Stephanie McMahon using Orton, so this is nothing new. Owens says they crawl and fight for their opportunities, while Orton is always handed his. They go on and say Shane's plan didn't even work last week. Owens knew he had to beat Orton so bad that Orton would no longer be an option for Shane. Owens had to show the world that he's not afraid of Orton or Shane's vendetta against them, and to do that, he had to outsmart Shane. They go on the mic, and Sami ends up walking around the ring and knocking the announcers and some of the other ringside employees than the fans in the crowd. Fans boo. Sami continues walking up the ramp where he destroyed Orton last week. Sami is bragging on how Owens won last week when Orton suddenly appears in the ring and takes out Owens with an RKO. Out of nowhere, right? I actually liked a lot how they filmed the RKO to come out of nowhere. That was very nicely shot by the production crew, or Kevin Dunn. Got to give him his credit right there, as much as I hate Kevin Dunn and the input he gives Vince McMahon, but that's besides the point. Sami, he looked on from the ramp stunned with a befuddled look on his face. Orton stares Sami down and looks to go after him, but the music hits and out comes SmackDown Commissioner Shane McMahon. Shane says he does not have a vendetta against Sami and Owens. Regarding the two being left off WWE Survivor Series, Shane says they will be featured at Clash of Champions in 2 weeks because he announces that Sami and Owens will go against Orton and a partner of Orton's choosing. Shane announces Sami versus Orton for tonight. Owens will be handcuffed to the ring rope for the match. Shane tells Sami good luck, and his music hits. Sami looks on from the ramp as Owens recovers on the floor and Orton smirks from the ring. So you had a generic SmackDown opening where you announce something for the pay-per-view, something that's so utterly predictable and boring for the pay-per-view, something that we've seen numerous times on SmackDown Live. You're using your biggest stars on this show, the stars that have been in your main event scene in a tag team matchup on a pay-per-view. You've got to be kidding me with this garbage, bro. You really, really do. And then Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn, a matchup that we've seen how many times now on SmackDown Live? I cannot count. It's been a combination of all these goddamn matches. I mean, it's boring by now. It really, really is. You really could have gave these matches proper stipulations at the pay-per-view. You could have made Owens versus Nakamura and Orton versus Zayn or something, some mix of those matches, but maybe those are both going to be steel cage matches, or maybe those are both going to be some type of match. I don't know. 2 out of 3 falls, some type of stipulation, bro. Make it interesting in some way. Put your creative minds to use. A steel cage matchup would actually work. It would not allow Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens to interfere in each other's matches. because they'd be locked out via steel cage. So that works. That works very, very well. But of course not. The SmackDown Live creative team is not that creative. You gotta be kidding me. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens were in a backstage segment with Zayn telling Owens, who didn't hear anything Shane said in the opening, that Owens would be handcuffed to the rope during his match with Randy Orton, with Owens saying he is going to fix this by going to talk to Daniel Bryan. So clearly they try that approach again, and we will go over what that results in later in the night. Aiden English led us through the 12 days of Rusev, and wow, are Aiden English and Rusev over, bro. They got a huge pop, and I don't think that's just because they were in San Diego here tonight. I think they got a huge pop because they are over. I like what they are doing. Aiden English, whether you like him or not, has fantastic vocals, and Rusev and Aiden English both have a ton of charisma, and their comedy comes off very well because they know how to deliver lines. They are comedic gold, are these two guys. They know what they're doing when it comes to being funny. They really, really do know what they are doing. So their comedic timing allows them to come off as serious but goofy and funny at the same time, and it makes you take them serious in one regard, and it makes you love them because they make you laugh at the same time. So putting these two guys together, they're both very, very charismatic, and they both are goofy, and they have comedic presence to them, and I like this pairing, I really, really do. But you mean to tell me that these guys are getting a tag team championship opportunity within the first time they officially teamed together? You gotta be kidding me with that one, bro. Anyways, Aiden English, he led us through the 12 days of Rusev, so clearly they celebrate Rusev Day, not Christmas, not Hanukkah. It's Rusev Day in this one, with the first day of Rusev giving him a victory. The second day of Rusev, he got 2 Rusev shirts, and on the third day, the New Day's entrance music interrupted. So there you go, they did their entrance, and we got the New Day versus Rusev and Aiden English. This was actually a pretty decent tag team matchup. I'm not going to lie to you on that one. But in the end, the ending really made no sense to me. Rusev or somebody knocked one of the members of the New Day off the apron. And I think Rusev, he knocked, I wasn't even watching, I wasn't paying too much attention to this. Because SmackDown Live really, I just don't know. I was zoned out here tonight. I'll be honest with you on that one. But I had a reason to be zoned out because when I would divert my attention, they would be announcing women's lumberjack matches. So clearly this was not a show that really required your attention, because if the WWE writers are going to put no effort and no attention into their writing, I am not going to put any effort or attention into watching this show, and I think y'all can agree with me on that one. But Rusev and Aiden English actually won this goddamn match, and it was Rusev who hit the ropes, and when Kofi Kingston, he was going for a high-flying move, that got him stunned, and that allowed Rusev to hit the big super kick to the back of the head and actually win the matchup. So they then got later added to the tag team matchup, which already was a 3-way, and now it's a 4-way tag team championship matchup. You gotta be kidding me with that one. Mojo Rawley was interviewed about why he did what he did last week, saying that they should be asking him what Zack Ryder did to him, saying that as soon as Ryder got injured, he went out and seized opportunity, winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And Zack Ryder, when he got back, he was that weight that was bringing him down. And whoever has a problem with what he did to Zack Ryder can face him. So, you know what this is leading to? This is going to lead to Ty Dillinger coming out, having a problem with what Mojo Rawley did to Zack Ryder, and Ty Dillinger is going to be losing to Mojo Rawley. That's what's going to happen. I can guarantee you. Next week on SmackDown Live, I'm betting you that's what's going to happen, bro. Daniel Bryan is backstage with Carmella, Lana, and Tamina Snuka. Carmella says she rid the world of James Ellsworth, which deserves a spotlight at Clash of Champions alone. Lana makes the case for Tamina Snuka deserving a title shot. There's no case for that. Tamina is awful in that ring, and Lana, so are you. Bryan says the SmackDown Women's title match is already official for Clash. Natalya versus Charlotte Flair. The Riot Squad ends up walking in. Ruby Riott points out how she even pinned Flair and wonders why she isn't getting a title shot with which that's actually a valid point. Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan also have words, which this article does not mention. The two sides end up arguing until Bryan yells at them. He lets out some cringy ass yell, does Daniel Bryan, and he says that they will all be at Clash of Champions because Charlotte Flair versus Natalya will now be a lumberjack match. Shoot me in the head. There is no worse stipulation in the WWE than a lumberjack match. Matter of fact, I'm considering making that the question. What is the worst stipulation in the WWE? What do you think is the worst stipulation in the WWE? It's got to be the lumberjack match, or the flag on a pole match, or probably the whatchamacallit, the one with the timer, the beat the clock challenge. Those have got to be some of the worst stipulations in the WWE, in all of wrestling for that matter. These matches are awful. They are boring, they're generic, and they're predictable. Nobody wants to see them because they are garbage. That's it. We'll go backstage to Bobby Roode and the United States Champion Baron Corbin. They have words ahead of tonight's non-title match, and Dolph Ziggler appears for the first time in months and brags about being so good, which is why he was put in the match with Roode and Corbin at Clash. He pokes fun at Corbin for his failed Money in the Bank cash-in earlier this year. Ziggler says Corbin and Roode's odds just dropped to 0, and he will see them in Boston. You gotta be kidding me with that one. And he just leaves Baron Corbin and Bobby Roode standing next to each other, even though that they're rivals, even though they're going to be facing later on in the night. They're just standing next to each other looking at Ziggler like, what the hell? What the hell just happened? Am I on drugs here on SmackDown Live? The Bludgeon Brothers versus Jobbers. The Bludgeon Brothers continue to be one of the best aspects of SmackDown Live, in a SmackDown Live that is god-awful right now. And they clearly won this matchup against Jobbers with some pretty cool-looking moves, bro. At one point, Rowan power slams Harper onto one of the Jobbers. It was crazy, bro. It was really, really crazy how they're that powerful. Eric Rowan is looking a lot more impressive to me. Luke Harper's always been impressive, but Eric Rowan is looking a lot more impressive to me, bro. He really, really is. And they won with the same move where they pick you up by your arms and then just slam you on the ground very viciously. So there you go. Bludgeon Brothers, another impressive week on SmackDown Live. Sammy is backstage with Kevin Owens, asking if he talked to Daniel Bryan about being cuffed to the rope. Sammy rants and Owens calms him down. Owens did speak to Bryan, and Bryan said he'd think about it. Sammy hugs Owens, but Owens looks annoyed. Sammy asks if that is a good thing or a bad thing. Owens says we'll have to wait and find out. Why were there so many backstage segments with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn that were so unbelievably unnecessary here tonight? It makes no sense to me. You could have taken out all these backstage segments and given Ty Dillinger a matchup. But of course not. Of course not. We get all these irrelevant backstage segments that, if WWE was good at storytelling, would not be necessary. We go to Bobby Roode versus Baron Corbin, and this matchup pretty much didn't even get started. It looked decent what they were going to do, but it was Ziggler who was on commentary, and he randomly decided to get up. They didn't even do that typical spot where somebody accidentally goes into Ziggler, or maybe they did. They probably did, for all I know, but I guess I wasn't paying too much attention. But this was alright. It was Dolph Ziggler who was on commentary and interfered and hit both Corbin and Roode with the zigzag. But Roode got the victory because Dolph Ziggler hit Roode with the zigzag first. Again, I wonder why. What did Dolph Ziggler do to earn himself a spot in this matchup? I honestly cannot tell you, bro. Natalya backstage approaches Tamina, Lana, and Carmella backstage about being lumberjacks. She's pretty much kissing up to Tamina, Lana, and Carmella. Natalya says she will have Tamina's back in her match with Flair tonight. Natalya tries to get the trio to have her back in case the Riot Squad tries to attack her at the Clash of Champions PPV, but they are not buying it. Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, and Logan appear behind Natalya. Natalya tries to suck up to them, thanking them for taking out Naomi and Becky Lynch. She goes on praising them and tries to warn them about Flair. Natalya says she's so honored to share the spotlight with the most powerful woman in WWE, the Riot Squad. Natalya does an awkward laugh and leaves in a hurry. Who cares? Who cares? This is awful. Get rid of these unnecessary stables, bro. Charlotte versus Tamina. You thought that was awful. You thought that was awful. Charlotte versus Tamina on this goddamn show. You've got to be kidding me. Charlotte won this god-awful match, and she didn't even fully lock in the figure eight before Tamina was tapping out. You got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. After the matchup, the Riot Squad came out, right? It was Natalya who was on the mic teasing Charlotte, and she had Carmella and Lana backing her up. Ooh, such forces that Natalya has alongside her. The Riot Squad comes out. They say some shit. A fight breaks out, right? And somebody stands tall. I honestly don't know who. I honestly don't care who. Daniel Bryan is backstage, and he is talking to Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn before their matchup. And Daniel Bryan, he said he would consider it, right? And at this point, he told them no. And he actually got security guards with handcuffs to go escort Owens out to the ring. So there you go with that one. We get to the matchup, Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn, was it? Yeah, it was Randy Orton versus Sami Zayn. And Kevin Owens was handcuffed to the ropes, and he didn't want to do it, and Daniel Bryan offered to suspend him. So he's like, fine, I'll do it. Fine, I'll do it. Sami Zayn and Randy Orton actually have a damn good matchup. That's one thing. They have damn good matches. Probably the best part of SmackDown Live, the matchup between these two guys. You can't go wrong with these matches. As much as we've seen them as of the past 2 weeks, these are realistically pay-per-view worthy matchups, but of course WWE giving them away on SmackDown Live, right? But that is besides the point. We reached a climax in this matchup, and it was a pretty cool ending. It was Sami Zayn who took out bolt cutters, right? He found them under the ring, and he tried to uncuff Owens. Randy Orton made the save a couple times, and ridiculously, actually, the referee just left the bolt cutters right next to Kevin Owens. He didn't even throw them out. He didn't even throw them out of the ring. He just left them right next to Kevin Owens, and eventually Owens just took the bolt cutters, cut himself out, tried to interfere in the matchup, distracted Randy Orton for a bit, and in the end he ended up winning anyways. There was an exchange where Zayn was almost hit with an RKO, threw Orton into the turnbuckle, almost hit the haluva kick, went straight into the ropes with that one, and Randy Orton was able to roll up Zayn and actually win the matchup. But after the matchup, Sami Zayn, or Kevin Owens I should say, started attacking Randy Orton, and they both started attacking Randy Orton, did Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, but out came none other than Shinsuke Nakamura, who everybody knew was going to be Randy Orton's mystery partner. I mean, who else is it going to be? Ty Dillinger? Yeah, sure, that one's funny, real funny. But Shinsuke Nakamura came out, cleared Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. He hit them with a Kinshasa. He hit Kevin Owens with a Kinshasa. He gave Sami Zayn to Randy Orton for an RKO. Then they took turns hitting their finishers on the other guys. So Randy Orton hit an RKO on Kevin Owens, and Shinsuke Nakamura hit a Kinshasa on Sami Zayn. And then we went to a little backstage thing with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon, where Shane McMahon had the audacity to say that is one of the most exciting SmackDown Live endings of all time. Are you fucking kidding me with that one? And I wasn't trying to curse in this video, but that's ridiculous. What makes this SmackDown Live ending so goddamn special? There's nothing special about that one, bro. You gotta be kidding me. How about the one where Kevin Owens was attacking Vince McMahon. That was an exciting ending to SmackDown Live. That's a good ending to SmackDown Live. This? No, not really, bro. Not really. I call this predictable. I call this boring. I call this formulaic. I call it mediocre. I don't know about you, bro. But he goes on to make the stipulation for the matchup that he's going to be the special guest referee for some goddamn reason. And he goes on to say that he makes this matchup that if Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn lose, they will be fired not from just SmackDown Live, but from the WWE, because Shane McMahon has the authority to do that. And you know what that does? It makes the matchup at Clash of Champions even more predictable. So I hope you had fun making that stipulation, because now it's pretty much guaranteed that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to win that matchup. So not only is the matchup boring and formulaic, you know that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are going to win. So who cares? Do you? No. Do I? No. That's it. That's it. That's your SmackDown Live. I had to give this show a review or a rating out of 10. It'd be a 4. Or probably a 3 out of 10. Excuse me. They made way too many illogical decisions going into Clash of Champions, the women's lumberjack match. Why? This garbage. Why? I mean, it just makes no sense. There's nothing exciting on the show, and on top of it being illogical, on top of it being boring, on top of that, it makes no goddamn sense, and it doesn't get you excited for anything, and it builds towards nothing going into the Royal Rumble, for that matter. So who cares? I definitely don't. You definitely don't. This show gets a 3 out of 10. You have a fantastic roster. You can be putting on amazing shows each and every single week, and instead you're doing none of that. So who cares? Who honestly cares? I don't, and I ain't going to be stressing over anything these people are doing. So that's it for now, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to go check out all the other content: Raw reviews, SmackDown reviews, pay-per-view reviews, NXT TakeOver reviews, Behind the Mic on Saturday, Top 10s coming, and of course make sure to reply to the comment or the question that I will leave down below. Answer that question. I'm interested to see what you guys think, and of course make sure to smash that like button, and of course make sure to subscribe to the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button with the Kinshasa. Hit it with an RKO out of nowhere, because for now, this has been Joel Perez of the Ringside Wrestling YouTube channel, and for now, I am out of here. Thank you very, very much for watching this video. I will see you next time, right here on Ringside Wrestling.